All right, hey everybody. My name is Brad, and I am the Butcher Wizard. And on this channel, I teach people how to cut meat, cook meat, and eat meat. And that's what we do on this channel. So I'm so excited to be with you live today and answering any questions you might have. So open up the floor, put it in the comments. Let's ask some meaty questions. We got Thanksgiving coming up. We got the holidays coming up. So there are a lot of things to think about as it pertains to meat in general. And I just want to be here to answer any questions that you might have. So go ahead and put it in the comments and we will answer some questions. Oh, no, make sure I click the right thing. Whoo, this tech is going to be a interesting, you're in for a, you're in for quite a, you're in for quite a stream today because I have not used this, this actual tech in a while. So all right, so the tech is working. So the chat is working. A couple of things just as we wait for people to come in and get started. I wanted to tell people about, just for as we're waiting for people to get started, I just wanted to tell people a little bit about things that are going on in the Butcher Wizard world. There's a lot of stuff going on. It's obviously the holidays, so we got lots of stuff coming on the channel. The biggest thing I want to talk about is, while we're waiting for questions, is this is my book, new cookbook, Primal Cuts, and it is in reverse. Can you see? I don't know. Hopefully you can see this, but it is called Primal Cuts, and it is a cookbook that I wrote with the help of my lovely wife, and we have worked very, very hard on it. The cookbook is all about beef, so each chapter has its own is responsible for its own primal cut. So it's a little bit different than most of the cookbooks you may have on your shelf. So basically what I do is each chapter, we take a different primal cut. I show you how to break it down, and then I show you the recipes using those cuts of meat. And those recipes have come from just my from my crazy brain, have come from my have come from my career in food service. Some cool stories are in there about how we came up with these things, how we adapted these recipes. So that book is available for pre-order now on Amazon and barnesandnoble.com. It comes out November 11th, which is crazy because it's like 8 days away. So you're going to be seeing a lot of me here on YouTube and trying to get y'all to pre-order this book and order this book for the holidays for that person who needs to who loves to cook meat but needs a little bit. You don't know what to buy for them, and this book is a great thing for you to get for them for Christmas. So that being said, let's go to a couple of the questions here in the chat. Again, put your questions in the chat. I will answer them as they come up, and we'll just have a good time. Let's see. Favorite method for prime rib. I'm not sold on the 500-degree method and shut off your oven. You know, I've never tried that. I've seen that a lot on YouTube and a lot on social media where they will put you heat up your oven, you put the prime rib in there, and you shut it off and let the residual heat cook it. The best way that I know how to do it is just the old-fashioned way. You put it in the oven, 325 degrees, basically about 15 minutes per pound or so. The best way to do it is to get you a wireless thermometer or meat thermometer, put it in there, and then the apps will kind of tell you when it's done and when it hits that right temperature. Biggest thing with prime rib is you want to pull it 10 degrees before you the doneness level that you want to eat it at. So if you like it at medium rare, that's 135, then maybe pull out at 125, 127, somewhere around there. Let that, while you're resting it, after it's pulled out of the oven, that residual heat will cook it the rest of the way. So just keep that in mind when you're doing prime rib. But again, the best way to do it are these wireless thermometers because they will tell you how many minutes are left and it takes the guesswork out of it. So if you have one of those, definitely use it. What's a good smoker for the first time barbecuer? Now, this is a great question. I consider myself a novice barbecuer. It's never been something I do it, for the holiday, for like the 4th of July and things like that. I don't do competition barbecue. I would love to get to that in the future, but I'm a novice. So I like pellet grills. They're really easy. I have a Traeger pellet grill. You put the pellets in, you click it on, you put it at a temperature range, and it's the easiest way to do a smoker for the beginner. You don't have to tend to wood, you don't have to tend to the smoke and the level of heat. So in my mind, if you're a beginner, that's the best. Any of the pellet grills are going to be good to go, because again, you just flip on the switch and it adds smoke and it keeps the heat at the right temperature. Ooh, yeah, 29. All right. Just a couple of things coming up. If y'all saw my last video about prime rib, about ditching the turkey and doing prime rib for Thanksgiving, again, that video has a really good just basic tips for prime rib, how to cook it, how to season it, things like that. And then coming up in the future, we're doing a couple of things. I'm going to be doing probably a Halloween. Oh my goodness, Halloween in the brain. It will be a Thanksgiving kind of tips videos. We're going to be doing. I'm trying to think of the things I got coming out. Definitely some more like alternatives to prime rib, because I'm really leaning in to prime rib this year, as far as or roasted meats for the holidays. So I'm going to be definitely doing some more alternatives to different how to make prime rib, and more prime rib videos, bone in versus boneless, all these different things that you have to deal with when you are choosing what kind of meat, what kind of main dish you're going to have at your holiday table. My favorite knife for breaking down cuts of meat. Okay, I see too many Instagram ads about Japanese knives, but reviews are mixed. What's a real butcher knife? Okay, so a real butcher knife, what butchers actually use in their butcher shops, are just regular stainless steel knives. When I worked in a butcher shop, that was what we used, because we beat them up. You put them through their paces, and stainless steel is the most durable of all the metals that you're going to find in a knife. I have some Japanese style knives. I have a chef's knife, and it is a little finicky. Sharpening is a little difficult because you have to do it a little bit different angle. It can be, it just can be hard to deal with. Your stainless steel knives are good and solid for a reason. That's why butchers use them. And it's, again, they're economical, and they're durable. That's the biggest thing. They take an edge really nice. They keep it edge, because that's what we need. We need a nice sharp knife when we're breaking down all these cuts of meat. Let's see what else we got going on. Any other questions? Let me check the chat here. And it was kind of impromptu. I just decided about an hour ago I was going to go live, just to kind of say what's up, reintroduce myself to the live YouTube audience here, the live YouTube people, whoever's just hanging out at lunchtime-ish and wants to talk about some meat. We can talk turkey. Let's talk turkey. So a little bit about, their turkeys are coming in the grocery store. So the biggest thing when you are buying your turkey is making sure that you thaw it out in the appropriate amount of time. It takes longer than you think. So if you're going to put it in the refrigerator and let it thaw out that way, you're going to have to put it in there for 5, 6, 7 days, somewhere like that, to make sure that it comes to that it thaws out nice and evenly and slowly. A couple of ways, if you forget to do that, is to you can power thaws. This is kind of a restaurant or a food service term power thaw, where you would put it in a container and you'd let cold water run over it. It helped that convection of water helps it thaw out more quickly. So if you get to the point where you forgot and like, oh my goodness, what am I going to do? That is a way to thaw it out a little more quickly. Another thing is with turkey. Let's talk about turkey. So different how you're going to cut it. So we can roast it whole, which is most traditional. And you want to make sure you get under the skin, put some butter in there, put some herbs, season up really nice. You can also spatchcock a turkey, which is basically taking the backbone out and flattening it out. So you would turn it over and you would take kitchen shears and cut out the backbone. And then that allows you to flatten out this turkey so that it cooks at a consistent time and temperature. So it actually cooks much quicker. And you don't get a lot of the problems with turkey is by the time that the legs are cooked, because they take a little bit longer, the breast meat is dry. So spatchcocking can help you out with that. And also turkey insurance is called a brine. So turkey insurance is basically where we're going to make a flavorful brine to put our turkey in and let it sit there for 24, 48 hours and then pull it out. And then what happens to that brine? It's a salt solution that has some spices and herbs and you make it flavorful. But what happens is the salt water goes into the turkey, therefore increasing the amount of flavorful liquid that is in that turkey. So when you go ahead and roast it, when the juices are released as it's cooking, you have super saturated that turkey with that flavorful liquid so that it will retain some of that liquid and be nice and juicy. And that's what we all want, right? We want juicy turkey, which is one of the hardest things to do. It's one of the hardest things to do is cook a turkey properly and make sure that it's still edible. So it's still flavorful and juicy. All right, I got a couple more questions. All right. Do you have a garage freezer? So I have all kinds of freezers. It's been an interesting dilemma on YouTube because a lot of the videos that I do that I cut meat, people really enjoy and I really want to learn more about. And the ones that I cook the cuts of meat don't do so well. So I end up with lots of extra meat. You break down a whole ribeye, you get 14 ribeyes, and then I have to individually package them and put them in the refrigerator / freezer. So yes, I have a upstairs just kind of double fridge or a fridge that has a freezer, and then I have another setup downstairs just like that, and then a kind of a garage chest freezer also, which I had to go through the other day because I could not close the door anymore. So I had to actually go through it, and we had cook some stuff. I made a ton of beef jerky out of a bunch of random cuts. Again, it's meat management at my house is a very different than most people's houses, but man, hey, it's a ongoing battle. How many minutes per pound do I cook my meatloaf? Okay, so meatloaf is meatloaf again is a not tricky, but you don't want to undercook your meatloaf. And the fact that you've added all these ingredients that add moisture, maybe it depends on what your recipe is. There's milk, there's eggs, there's all kinds of other ingredients that can add moisture to it and stretch it out. So that's what meatloaf is, right? It's a way to stretch out a pound of ground beef or whatever, however much ground beef. So what you want to do is make sure that it comes to temperature. I still use a meat thermometer. You want to get to 155 degrees. Again, you can you can probably pull it about 150 degrees just to let that carryover cooking will happen. So if you have a meat thermometer, that's the best way. I think I put mine like for a loaf pan for it's probably about a pound or a pound and a half of meat. It'll go in there for an hour and a half. I do find that, again, if you're adding that stuff into it, that's going to add moisture to it. That's your meatloaf insurance. So we talked about turkey insurance. This is your meatloaf insurance. So you have a little bit of leeway to make sure that it's not super dry. But again, I would start there and see where you're at degrees wise. Brian asks, do you have different membership tiers? Okay, so I think you're talking about the Primal Cuts Club, which is my members only community. So as of right now, I just have the one membership tier. So for anyone who's interested, basically what that Primal Cuts Club is it's kind of the next level of intensity when it comes to cutting down big cuts of meat. So I have YouTube stuff. It's always going to be free. It's always going to be, I put stuff out every week, and that's my main, what I do out to the world. And then the Primal Cuts Club is a little bit more, we get a little bit more fine tuned. So the videos are different because they're like a culinary school class. So they're like, the videos are from the top down. It's all close-ups. You don't have to see me doing all the kinds of the dancing or gyrations of YouTube. And we just focus on the meat cutting and the intricacies of it. And then we have two times a month, we have live Q&As that are kind of like this. But the difference is on the Primal Cuts Club is you get to actually turn your video on. You can show me what you're doing. You can talk to me directly. It's kind of a cool little thing, kind of a cool little social thing. And we answer questions twice a month. And then one time a month, I do a live cutting. So I'll show you last month, I did a beginner's knife skills class as it pertains to butchery. So we worked on cutting off silver skin, going around bones, portioning different cuts of meat. So it just did it live, and I can answer questions live. But anyway, so that's a little bit about that. But yeah, just to have the one membership tier. It's $29 a month. If anyone's interested, I will put up a link in the description. I think I have a QR code coming up here pretty soon too, if you're interested. But if not, cool. We're still having fun. We're still doing these things a lot. I'll do a little bit of lives. We'll do a little bit of videos coming out every week. So I got you covered. What cutting board do you use? So I like wood cutting boards. The one that I use is 20 inches by 15 inches. It's about as big as I can fit into my cabinet. I know there are bigger ones, and I think it really does help the more space you have to work with. So the bigger, the better. I know there's one at Costco that's teak, and that's a really big oversized cutting board. I've seen one like on TikTok, a TikTok shop or whatever. They're selling this one that looks like it's huge. Like, I don't know how you can fit it through the door. I don't know how it works, but just as long as it's big enough for you to put those whole primal cuts on there and have room to work. So I like wood cutting boards. Yeah. And Brian, there's, no worries, man. I'm still going to put my content up on YouTube for free. And I want to help everybody. I want to help as many people out as I can. And that's my main goal. So, Matt, so are you still offering a knife at sign up? I actually am. I was going to talk about this a little bit later, but thank you guys for bringing it up. I am offering, I'm going to put the QR code here in a minute, but I'm going to offer currently the 10-inch breaking knife right here from the Butcher Wizard collection. And if you sign up for it, so all of my knives are available on Amazon. If you just search Butcher Wizard, you're going to, go right to it. But I'm also offering this as if you sign up for the Primal Cuts Club, then I will send you this 10-inch breaking knife right away, or at least within a week or two. Hopefully, I'm sending all these out from my house, which has been interesting, but learning along the way. But yeah, so if you sign up for the Primal Cuts Club, I will send you out that 10-inch breaking knife. Let me put up that QR code and there'll be a link in the description as well after we're done. But so there's the QR code. Oh wait, I hope this is the right one. So we'll see. Hopefully that takes you to the right one and not weird somewhere else. But I will definitely have a link in the description. Again, man, tech, I'm telling you, this tech stuff is interesting. So, yeah, thanks to all the people who want to see live. Like, if people want to watch live and do this, maybe we'll do some live cuts. Maybe we can do some live cuts or something like that. Just kind of seeing what everyone likes to see and wants to watch. And I want to, like I said, my 100% goal is to teach as many people as possible how to break down meat and save money on meat. Because again, beef prices are going through the roof, and this is the way that we can kind of like help out with that. Like, these, whether it's a simple substitution of, I like this cut and this cut is just like it, but it's cheaper, or whether it's cut your own things. Again, it is imperative that we know a little bit more about beef and meat in general so that we can make great decisions when we are buying meat for our families to cook. Oh, thanks, David. David, that knife has worked well for me. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Oh, Cooking with CJ. What's up, man? How you doing? Good to see you here on the live. If you haven't checked out CJ's channel, he is awesome. He does all kinds of stuff out of his, I think it's his backyard, but like he cooks all kinds of stuff. It makes me so hungry because I'll see his stuff come up and I'll be like, that looks so good. He does some great stuff. So you should definitely check out Cooking with CJ. All right, so a couple of just some more things I want to talk about. Some things I found because I'm filming a video right now about where I go to different grocery stores and I see what's out there and see and show you kind of what to buy, what not to buy. And I did a couple of them today, so I got them fresh in my mind. But like a couple of things that you kind of look out for is I found this so I have a local Harris Teeter. I don't know if I don't know if that's East Coast or what that regional grocery store is, or I don't know if you have them in West Coast or Midwest, but we have a lot of them here. And what funny thing that I noticed was that because prices are going up, you're seeing a lot more thin cuts that are underneath like the plastic wrap and the styrofoam, all that stuff. So they are cutting these things like paper thin, like half-inch or so, just because they know they can't sell a price tag of a steak that costs $50 or $45. But then they have a butcher counter next to it where they cut some steaks, and they have these beautiful looking like 2-inch, 1.75-inch porterhouses that look so good. But they put them over there in the butcher counter that you have to go and weigh, like the butcher will come and bring it out and weigh it. Because again, if they put that under the cellophane and had to put that sticker on there that said that steak is probably like $60, it might be not sell so well. So there is a difference when you go up to that butcher counter and you get the things that are already portioned out. But you can see that a lot of grocery stores are changing the way that they cut steaks. And the reason I bring this up is because if you don't like thin steaks, because they're super hard to sear and get just right in the middle, like by the time you sear these thin steaks, they are overcooked. So if you're going to do that, some of the only ways you can get that nowadays is to cut it yourself or go to a local butcher shop that cuts them. So you can say, I want one 1.5 inches thick, or I want one 1 inch thick, whatever you want to do. I was just noticing so much out there, they're cutting them so thin. It's crazy. And another thing is my biggest pet, or one of my biggest pet peeves is the tenderloin steaks that don't have the silver skin removed. So that is one that really gets to me all the time. Of like most grocery stores, if they're cutting their own meat, again, they're not taking the time to take that silver skin off, and they're selling it to you with that silver skin on, and it's pretty expensive. I saw like $35 a pound for fillets today. And I know at my local Costco, I can get a whole tenderloin for like $18.99 a pound. and then I can cut it myself, use the trim for ground beef and other things, and then make sure that it is perfectly cut. Take that silver skin off. You're gonna have to do that butchery anyway. You're gonna have to take that stuff off anyway, so you might as well save a little money doing it. All righty, what else we got? Another, I want to go back. I'm sorry about going back to the cookbook. Okay, very excited. Look at this handsome looking guy on the cover. And so this is the Primal Cuts Cookbook is available on Amazon, and it is at barnesandnoble.com. It's available for pre-order right now, and then it'll come out on the 11th. So if you, it's actually 7% off on Amazon. Isn't that cool? I've learned through doing these books that are doing this book that you have like zero control over the price of the book. So I saw on there that it was 7% off. So like, don't everyone rush. Don't beat down Amazon's door to get your 7% off. But again, if I would say, please pre-order because it helps out the book sales and you get it first. You get it ships so that you get it on the release date. So please go and check that out. Where can I get the best chuck roast? Okay, so where you can get it is, so it's nuanced that way. So if you want to just go to your local grocery store and you need to pick out the best looking chuck roast. Chuck roasts are great. They're great in the crock pot. They're great, they're braised. They work really well that way. You can grind chuck roasts to make your own ground beef if you want to make sure it's super fresh. And then, but where you get it is probably, it's more important for you to pick out which one looks the best, has the best, has the most, or not the most fat, but it has a good amount of fat to lean ratio. So you want to see that, yeah, there's some lean meat in there. There's some fatty pieces in there. And that's what you want to go for. If you want to cut them, again, I'm broken record. If you want to cut them yourself, go get to Costco, Sam's Club, ask for a whole chuck roll, and you can cut them yourself. I have a video on how to do that on my channel. And that's the most cost-effective way to get a chuck roast. But yeah, I think it's about selecting the right one. All right, guys, if there's any more questions, go ahead and post them up real quick. If not, I just wanted to pop on here for a little bit and see what we could see if anybody had any questions. And if there's nothing else, I'm going to be going live. I'm trying to go every day this week. We'll see if I actually get there, but I'm going to try to go 3 or 4 times this week. So check your notifications. Think of your questions. Come in, bring in your questions. And thank you all so much for being here. I really appreciate it. Look for the Primal Cuts Club. Look for the Primal Cuts Cookbook. Man, thank you all so much. I will see you on the next one, and hopefully you're checking out the next video that's going to come out on Friday. So really appreciate it. Thank you all so much. We will see y'all later.